Good evening and welcome to the Reston Community Center Board of Governors meeting. We're in an off night here, but it's a Monday, and so we're still good. And I will now call the meeting to order. First order of business is approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is approval of the June 7th board minutes.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is approval of the June 7th board actions.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Is that an opposition? So that has passed. Next order of business is the chair's remarks. We're in this really kind of a strange place right now where we're happy because we are vaccinated. Yeah. And but we look on the other side, it's like the flip side of heck. But all of these people that are getting sick because they don't want to take the COVID. I don't understand people. Did you see the 34-year-old who was dying?
So I'll take the vaccination now.
Too late. And they said that's what's happening, that people are, once they get sick and are intubated, they want the vaccine and the people having to tell them it's too late.
Doesn't work that way.
No, it's too late. Tonight, higher perspective. Now, if I can make this big enough for me to see. Keep your thoughts positive, because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive, because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive, because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive, because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive, because your values become your destiny. I'm done. Next order of business is introduction of visitors, and I'm so happy there is one here. Susan?
Hello, I am Susan Meeks, Thursday, Managing Director of the Reston Corral. Is this time for
Do
my?
you need her? Yes, this is your
That is
turn.
the next item on the agenda.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I know, that's why I said I was glad to see it, but I was wondering, do you need her to sit here?
That might be closer, because that mic picks up everybody fully, so
I'll just
just
stand
getting
here.
it closer will help.
I'll just stand here. I just want to thank you for the presentation and the survey results that were presented prior to this meeting. It was very encouraging to hear of the support for the Performing Arts Center. At the Reston Corral, we also did a very unscientific poll in 2019 and the ones that we surveyed were performing arts groups in and around Reston, actually between McLean and Leesburg, the Dulles corridor. And we got 24 out of a small group, we got 24 who responded that they were very interested in seeing a center built in Reston, 500 to 700 seats, and 18 of those said that they would be happy to work on a task force to help move that along, to help see that as a reality. So I am here to say, use us. Use our energy, our advocacy, whatever you want us to do to get this done. Because I know that there is I believe the word is proxy, that was submitted to the Board of Supervisors for some land at Reston Town Center. But there was a 4-year window of opportunity, and we're well past half of that. So, the time is now to really take action. And I'm here to lend support of the Reston Corral and a bunch of other ensembles. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The word is proffer.
Proper.
I was thinking that.
The first 3 letters were right.
These are,
I know, it starts with a P.
That's right. First 3 letters were the same.
yeah.
Thank you very much, Susan. The next order of business is the committee reports, and first, Mr. Bill Bowie and the June 21st annual public hearing.
I'll have to refer to the notes on the first one, because I was not in attendance at the public hearing, but it is in the meeting minutes. But we did have the long-range planning committee meeting tonight, where the results of the 2019 community survey were presented by Dr. Kara Fitzgibbon. She did an outstanding job, and there were a number of things that were presented in that report that were music to all of our ears, especially around the recognition of what RCC means in the community, participation of a lot of people, the changing demographics, which are pretty dramatic, as well as support for a new arts venue. And then the second part of the meeting dealt with a survey monkey that was conducted between June and July of this year, and it pretty much reinforced the same things that were in the survey. And if you want to get a copy of either, go to our website.
Thank you.
Preference poll.
Preference vote.
Preference poll,
Paul.
Ready for me?
yes, I was gonna.
And you thought it was not me this year?
No, not you.
You're too late.
Preference poll committee, and then you have another. Do we have another visitor?
You have to go back.
We have
Bill,
another
the notes
visitor.
from the
He's just
long-range
arriving.
planning from June 21st are in there.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Oh, you just said,
Yeah.
just read them, okay.
But we
We have another, I know.
We have another
Visitor.
visitor.
Oh, I thought you meant another.
We get so excited. We haven't had any all
I know this
year.
was a very exciting day for me. I woke up this morning with plans to go to a breakfast meeting, and I happened to run into Dick Stilson, and he said, "Why don't you show up tonight?" And I said, "Where?" And it's the RCC meeting. I said, "Well, let me think about it." And less than an hour later, we were coming out of the supermarket here, and who should I see? Lyle. So I felt that the gods up there
Yeah.
were telling me I
A lot
should
of
be here
signals.
tonight.
Be here.
And I have no formal statement to make, but I just wanted to come by and say hi after close to 10 years. It's good to see you all. And amazing, we changed a bit. I mean, it's, yeah, and I just wanted to comment that it was really a good experience to be on the board with Terry Smith, nearly 20 years ago. He tried to talk me into coming here. I said, "Oh, you've got to be kidding." He said, "No, it's a great group. We've got to think about one for the board." And I eventually did. And I was here close to 10 years. And then obligations to go to Atlanta and Washington State and Hawaii, which was really difficult.
It was tough.
Family
Hawaii.
that came up. And so I left since then, and I'm very impressed by the work you all have done getting through the COVID crisis. It's quite impressive. And I understand that your finances are in good shape now. And I think
They
we
always
all-
have been.
They work with
They
me.
have been.
2008.
They have been. It's
They
true.
were in good shape in 2008. We were able to get through a recession because our finances were in such solid shape.
And I guess if I have to say anything a little bit more substantial, so there's only one regret I had, and as Lila remembers, and that was the one about the health center that we were thinking of constructing. And this board worked on it for a long time, and the staff did a yeoman's job in preparing a really fine plan, but then we ran into something called NIMBY. And they succeeded, even though the people who were against this plan were quite a distance away, they were able to sink it. And I'm just hoping that maybe since your finances are in good shape, that maybe you could reconsider something like that, although I think Lila's probably just quitting right now.
No, I think that's something the Park Authority will step up and deliver to Reston in due course.
Well, that would be wonderful.
And
Really would be.
we all know you, but I think for the camera, do you mind introducing
For
yourself?
sure. I'm Roger Lowen. I
Thanks.
used to be a member of the board. I have very good memories, as I just indicated,
Mhm.
of the board's work. And it's a pleasure to be here. I'm not going to stay because I know I can watch your meeting on the net, and I'll enjoy every minute of it.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Roger.
Good seeing you, Roger.
Thanks, good to see you all.
I'm glad you
Take care.
came.
Keep up the good work.
Time for coffee, Roger.
Okay, 2 in 1 day.
Was he talking about the barricade?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I just, since I'm about to speak, I'm gonna glom this onto there. His one regret is the same as my one regret when I was on the RA board of directors. Because I was on the RA board of directors at the same time. And I had to go through all that same stuff and listen to all the same people he did. It all came through my meetings before it went to his. Anyway, so we have that in common. Even though I don't really know him well, I feel a kinship. Because of,
Stroll down memory lane.
yeah, good times. Yeah, okay. Preference poll
I'm gonna bite my
committee.
tongue. I'm not gonna say a thing.
Preference poll committee, July 19th. So we got together, you can see the notes in the committee report section. Just a few things to point out. First of all, candidacy statements are due August 15th. The forum will be September 9th, and voting should open September 10th, though staff will monitor to make sure that they haven't gotten into mailboxes sooner. If they happen to hit mailboxes on the 9th or the 8th, then voting will open on the 9th or the 8th. Whenever it's clear that they are actually in mailboxes, then things will be opened up. Broadly speaking, no real shifts to the processes or policies or anything. And thus it was a rather succinct meeting. I think we met for 15 minutes. And we started at 6:30. I had a 7 o'clock Human Services Council meeting to make it to, and I was sitting in my basement in time for my meeting. So we were rather effective and efficient. Nothing else really of substance, just some stuff about timing of when, and feeling good about print stuff, and really nothing else substantial to report. Any questions on the notes or any questions about the process timing?
No questions.
All right.
Jump into your other meeting.
So, and then the other meeting is actually from earlier today. We had a finance committee meeting. And so the finance committee meeting, we went through, and you'll see in the handout section of your binders, the year-end figures and accompanying notes. So we walked through the entire summary to get a feel for all the stuff that is being carried over, most notably, and all the sort of the big deviations, all the differences from sort of a normal year. So you can look through that. If you have any questions on any of those, then feel free to reach out. And then we actually went through all of the cost center reports as well. Just broadly speaking, on the revenue side, taxes were slightly higher. Obviously, program revenue was lower, but we expected program revenue to be lower. It was lower. The reduction in program revenue was, I'd say, more than offset by the reduction in operating expenses and personnel expenses. And so just sort of overall, that paints a pretty good picture. But we have had approximately $750,000 returned to the reserve from the natatorium project. So that has already hit the fund balance because that has already been, has worked through this process. But we do expect to have more go through the process. Natatorium, are you going to be talking about that in your director's report?
Briefly, but that's okay.
Okay,
We can
but
preview that.
natatorium project should be closing out in August. That means that I's will be dotted and T's crossed by the county in September, which means that everything will really formally be closed out and everything in October. And so that's when we would expect to see some more money returned to the reserve fund in excess of the $750,000 that have already been returned to there. We do have some money that has been earmarked to help us sort of get up to speed as we sort of return to normalcy. That's to the tune of a little over $500,000. But really, we are in terrific shape, as I mentioned at the end of the meeting. We're in very good shape, in part because our revenue model implies that if we sort of pause on programs, we do pretty well. And so we really, I look forward to the days when we stop saving so much money, because that'll mean that we are serving more people and more often. So, but very good shape. Look forward to getting the fund balances, as Dick was asking. We should probably have a sense of what the reserves look like in November, because we'll sort of close out the natatorium stuff in October. So we should have a preview of it in November, and certainly by the end of the year, have a good sense of what the fund balances are going to be looking like. Can't think of anything else substantial that was in there. Any other, anything else to add? Anyone else who was there, or any questions that anyone has?
I think you wrapped it up pretty well.
All right. And so, and obviously we'll have the written report for that for approval at the next meeting.
We made these committee reports approved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Next order of business is the board member input on activities attended since last we met. That should be taking a long time. Starting with Lisa.
I attended,
What over there?
I'm not ad hoc.
Dick, that's what.
Oh,
we're-
Dick, I'm sorry, Dick, you go first. You want to go around the table, or?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know why I was looking at him as a member. I was going to go with that one.
Oh, I'll start there if you want, it doesn't, either way.
Go, Lisa.
Okay,
You
I
go and you come this way.
attended a few, actually two, of the Take a Break concerts Thursday night at Lake Ann. Mainly because I was there eating dinner and I forgot, and there's 7, and so one of them was, I'm going to say Kaleidoscope, that's not what it is.
What's that?
Zydeco.
Oh, Zydeco.
It was a band, they were pretty good, and they stopped, and someone goes, oh, they come back and said, oh yeah, there's just a break, and they'll come back, and they didn't come back. And so it was just a shorter concert, but those concerts were well attended, and people still space out. It was kind of nice, so RCC is doing a really good job.
They changed it from a 2-set format, 2 40-minute sets to 1 90-minute set.
Okay,
So
'cause it
that's
was a
why
while-
they,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
it was a,
Yeah, because people were getting into it, and we were at one of the restaurants, and they go, oh yeah, they'll be coming back, and they were sorry, they go, oh, I said, no, I'm sorry, I forgot, but they were well attended, it was on one of those, just nice nights, and it's very pleasant to see activity at Lake Ann. And also, there's a lot of things that RCC is doing all in different places. We've seen the kids out there today. I ran into Allison, who was doing something as the Arch for Kids. So it was really nice to see some of that going on. So I've done a lot of RCC things, not planning to do exactly, but being there, oh, we need to stay. So, and it's been fun. So that's mostly what I've done as far as RCC. And I don't think I attended too much else. Not because it was hot, just because I didn't. Still kind of laying low.
I've been working mostly on my OLLI presentations, which is RCC, because both of the upcoming courses I'm doing will be RCC. And I went out to New Mexico for a week to do research on the Anasazi and Pueblo opinions. In fact, the name of my course, which I'll be given in January, is called Anasazi to Pueblo, the Archaeological Mystery. And it was the most fabulous week. If you haven't been to Chaco Canyon or to Mesa Verde, it is worth the effort. They are just incredible places. And to drive around the Four Corners area and see the places where there were basket maker sites and Pueblo One sites and Chaco Canyon, which is just
It's amazing.
incredible. Anyway, you can all come to my course, so you can hear all about it. And in September, I'll be giving a course I've given before, which is History of the U.S. West. And
History of
The
the
US
US.
what?
West.
the U.S. West.
Oh, West.
West.
I thought you said mess. I'm like,
Oh.
good idea to do a course.
Commentary.
They
Not
got a
right
lot
now,
of that-
don't do
They
that.
got a lot of that in the West. But anyway, that's been really my preoccupation.
So like Lisa, I've been kind of laying low still in this COVID interim. I did get a chance to take a quick visit out to the pool, not in my swimsuit, but it's nice to see that the beach area is going to be open before too long, but the warm water pool is being enjoyed by a lot of people, younger and older, and the lap lanes. So I was just delighted to see that our new aquatics facility is looking so good and so enjoyed.
Lots of meetings, man, lots of meetings. We got a new DPWES director hired, Chris Harrington, started on July 12th. We're in the final throes of hiring a new director for the Park Authority, and that'll be done in the next week or so. What the heck else? For Leadership Fairfax, which I'm on the board, I am going to be standing up the equity committee. So we're going to get into a new line of business, and Lisa will be talking about how we want to
I'm
engage
getting a lot of calls.
the entire community on the equity matters. And what else? We're going to replace the field at South Lakes next summer of 2022.
The turf field?
Just the community
turf?
field?
The community use field will be replaced next summer, so it's been that long already. So they get an 8 to 10 year useful life out of them, and that one's taken a beating, which is a good thing.
Complaining about
That's
that.
Oh, yeah.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing that it's taken such a beating. And just a lot of activity going on.
The blue field did, like T.C. Williams. They
No.
put a blue field.
No,
No.
no,
No.
no, no.
Get a lot of pop for it.
Over who's
No.
taking?
No,
I was on RA board when we approved that, and that was a long time ago, when I approved our contribution.
Well, yeah, so the South Lakes field, the varsity field, is actually the field that RCC paid for
Right.
and
Contributed.
contributed to it.
Did not pay for everything.
And you probably will not, because we signed an MOU where we would contribute when it was time to replace. Well, the Board of Supervisors now has a replacement fund. So that was an investment well worth
Nice.
it.
Like, because RA contributed, same time
Yes,
RCC
yeah.
did, and Little League, and
Yeah.
whatever else.
Right, so that was a
Community effort.
great thing that came
Huge.
about. And that was basically a lot of stuff though.
When are they going to do this big investment in Lake Fairfax Park? I mean, they've already had huge investments in Lake Fairfax Park, but now
We
more.
got another $7.5 million.
But I didn't
that'll be done.
understand when it was, I forget who said that. The money was there because the bonds were passed, but there was a cash flow problem. I didn't understand
so-
what that meant.
We can talk about this.
Oh, okay,
we
yeah,
can talk
that's
about
not
this
RCC.
That's not-
No, well, we can talk about this Saturday. I didn't explain, I just had this conversation with Connie Hartke for an hour on Saturday to explain it to them.
Let's see, I attended Trout Fishing in America, and then the Volunteer Appreciation moment after that.
Meal pickup,
Meal and photo op.
and that was a very good meal.
It was a lovely meal. By the way, so I am no longer Salt Lake PTSA president, but I'm now the Band Boosters president. So there you go. So little shift, still involved at South Lakes. So 2 more years, the countdown is starting.
There you go.
As long as Maggie stays on track. So she's on the 5-year plan.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Okay. Let's see, preference poll committee meeting was already mentioned. And I think that's it.
I knew I forgot one. So tomorrow we embark upon the redistricting committee for the county. And that should be interesting.
I didn't know you were on that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We will be on it
Do it good, do it good.
everywhere. Everywhere. We start tomorrow night. So that is going to be a really concise, quick project that must be completed for us by October, by the end of October. So be a lot of meetings in August, September, and
Now, Bill, you're saying us, is that not,
Hunter Mill.
that's Hunter Mill District by, and what's the
October.
date?
I'm a appointee by the chair.
Okay.
by the
board
chair.
supervisor, okay. And the due date for that is the end of October?
It's got to be voted on by December the 7th by the county, because it'll be effective January 1st. And these are for the magisterial district
Magisterial districts.
within Fairfax County, not the state.
Yeah, you were,
That's gonna
that's
start
where I was
too.
getting confused, because they've got a meeting tomorrow as well.
Yeah,
This
is
is
for
a lot of
Fairfax
stuff
County.
going on in the county.
a lot of stuff going on with the county.
Hard to keep up.
Okay, and you also were at the finance committee meeting.
The one 3 hours ago. I know, I was debating whether to mention that, yeah.
Yes, I went to.
And the long range planning committee, that was after that.
Yes. There you go.
Jam-packed evening tonight.
Yeah, I saw trout fishing in America for the very first time. And how long have they been coming here?
Many years.
Several years.
I know. And I was totally taken by them, so I introduced Esme to them on YouTube. And it's really fun, because if you go there, you can watch them age. Because they started out as youngsters.
Yes.
And she goes to sleep every night to lullaby.
Oh.
She loves
My
that song.
favorite songs.
Yeah. The next order of business is the executive director's report.
So, not a whole lot to share. We have a tentative date for having 2 separate meetings with Cornerstones on August 24th, with their staff, with their neighborhood ambassadors, with their facility site managers, as many people as they can gather. We'll have one midday-ish for lunchtime and one 5 o'clock-ish for dinner time, so that people can come to either one. And by that point, we'll have drafted some big picture goals associated with the strategic plan pillars, and just do a focus group to make sure that, in particular with the equity pillar, that we're on target and on track with that. And we'll incorporate that information into the draft that we bring to the board in September of the strategic plan, goals and objectives. We have hired a financial specialist, and that individual is a current county employee, so that's good news for Renata. She won't have to start from scratch. He's supposed to start, his name is James Rocket, and he's supposed to start at the beginning of August. We completed all of our employee evaluations on time prior to June 30th. That's 48 evaluations, and yeah, that's always a project. The website design project is underway. We've had a kickoff meeting and project planning conversations. I mentioned earlier this evening, we're going to explore getting better, faster connectivity between the landing page experience and specific purchases for people in the web track environment. The Aquatics project will wrap up during our annual maintenance period at the end of August into the Labor Day weekend. And then, as Paul mentioned, we'll close that out and should have a final bottom line number on that project for the November Finance Committee. The Aquatics Department, they had a junior lifeguard camp this year. Bless you. And that was cute as can be, and those little junior lifeguards they're primed, so we hope that by the time they reach employment age, they will want to be lifeguards. And for the parents, this was also a great thing because they will be super safety conscious now, and that's always fun. The summer concert series, you all mentioned seeing them. They've been terrific. We've been pretty lucky on the weather. The camps, all of the camps, the arts and events and leisure and learning camps are all in full swing. The kids are, I mean, you just cannot spend any time during the day in either building without hearing kids in happy land. They're just so ecstatic to be with each other. We have a new series that we created with the Opportunity Neighborhood Partners. It's called Crafternoons, and those have been successful. They do things like making bookmarks and little miniature kites and origami stuff, or one of them they made Play-Doh, things that are fun and easy and that have been happily received. And we're trying to gear up more and more off-site programming for fall and winter and spring, depending, because a lot of the facilities that we had been reaching out to and suggesting on-site programs for new residents, that all stopped with COVID because nobody wanted people from outside the buildings to come in and create a gathering. So we'll see how that goes. And I go to lots of meetings too.
I'm sure you do. Okay, thank you, Lila. Next order of business is old business. Any old business? And the next order is new business. We just look at the events down at the bottom. That will classify that as new business. The long-range planning meeting, the Board of Governors meeting is on the 13th.
Yes, and we typically don't meet in August. So this was a good time to have a board meeting since we have this engagement experience ahead of it. But we'll try to get the long-range planning meeting, we'll try to set that up so that we can have a conversation about the strategic plan draft in front of the board meeting. And if that everything is happy, we'll approve edits or inputs or whatever you come up with in that long-range planning meeting at that September 13 board meeting so that you can adopt the strategic plan in October. Yes.
One thing that's not on the reminders is the August 15th preference poll.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Orientation.
Okay.
What about
So at least, so the preference poll committee, they're responsible for having at least one board member attend the orientation meeting the evening of August 15th at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
Yeah, try to have it.
And what time
right?
for the forum?
The forum is on September 9th and it's at 6:30.
6:30.
And it'll be in the center stage.
Okay, there's a lot of new business there. So we're good. I have not been down to the concerts, but my daughter had me doing walking in the pool over on North Shore to try to make my legs work. And I heard the concert. It was wonderful, it carries that far. Okay, anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
You get the sentence out there, you
What was
get
that?
the period in the sentence.
I was just gonna
Sorry, I
say,
thought that's
speak
what you
now
were-
or forever
I
hold
thought that's
your
what you were
peace.
hinting for.
It's spoken. Thank you. There you go. I don't need it.